After completion of this phase, we were transported to a large regional ghetto, which was, as we found out later, was designated as the loading point into cattle cars on the way to Birkenau, Auschwitz. One thing stuck vividly into my memory from these days. To weaken and destroy our morale, one day we were ordered to the central yard of the ghetto to watch as all the rabbis ordered to walk around with their beards shaven off and into their head a cross being cut in. Eventually, the day came when we loaded and jumped into cattle cars. I do not remember how many people into a car, but as much as I remember, it was extremely crowded. My father was not traveling with us in the same car because his dire condition of very advanced tuberculosis. Therefore, he was loaded into another cattle car together with other gravely ill people. We traveled a few days without knowing our final destination. We suffered from terrible thirst and hunger, but the worst of it was that we had to relieve ourselves into a barrel in the car by other persons holding up the blanket. You can imagine our embarrassment and the unbearable stench in the car, especially toward the end of the journey. Finally, after a few days' travel, we arrived to the infamous Birkenau's railroad ramp. The doors of the wagons were opened, and we were welcomed with shouting SS men, with dogs shouting, "Raus, raus, out, out." In addition to the SS men, we met inmates dressed in striped pajamas who helped us down from the cattle cars and started to unload our belongings while assuring us that we will have our luggages later on. We were ordered to form two columns, men and women separately. 5 people in a row. This was a preparation for the selection process. At this time, I paid attention that my father was laying on the ground, not to be able to stand up with the rest of the people. I walked over him, and then, with a weak voice, he told me to take his overcoat because he will not need it anymore, and at the same time telling me his final farewell. At that time, after taking his overcoat, I joined my mother at the women's column because I had no father to stay with in the men's column. Suddenly, from nowhere, an inmate in a striped pajama pushed me to the men's column. After a while, I sneaked back to my mother, of course, and again the same inmate pushed me to the men's column. This scenario repeated itself 2 or 3 times. The Malach, the saving angel, he knew that if I stay with my mother, both of us will be sent surely to the gas chambers, as it happened to all my friends in my age from my town. Being a very fat kid with a large overcoat given me by my father, I looked as a mature man, and therefore I mistakenly was chosen to stay alive as a future slave laborers. It was my first encounter with miracle, by it I was saved to stay alive. After the selection process, we were taken to the showers to be showered and removing our hair from our head and from all our bodies. At that instant, of course, without any clothes, my real age became obvious. I was sent to the barrack 21 in the gypsies camp, which was the children's barrack. The barrack has a gypsy, Black L. Tester, barrack commander, who after my naive question, when can I see my mother again? He answered, I will never see her again. You can imagine my shock and disbelief. The barrack was an abandoned Polish army horse stall, but this time this was our sleeping place, rather of the horses. Each evening we had to bring in from the yard wooden planks a few feet long and lay them each next to other on the concrete floor, and in the morning revert the process. Those planks next to each other on the floor were our beds. After finishing laying the planks, we were ordered to enter the barrack and sit down with our legs spread wide apart for the purpose that next kid could sit between the spread legs, therefore to able to jam in the maximum amount of kids as inhumanly possible. Slowly, we became aware what Birkenau is about. Day and night, huge chimneys emitted billowing smoke which smelled burning flesh. The smell was very prevalent in the camp. In addition, also rumors surfaced which reinforced our knowledge about the gas chambers and the crematoriums. Our mood and emotion became more and more desperate from day to day. Days after day, we were chased out from the barracks, sitting all along between two barracks in any weather, doing nothing but participating in innumerable appeals, which meant standing information while waiting for an SS man who counted us and recounted us. In our desperation, we wanted to pray to the Hashem, but I remembered only a few words of davening, Avinu Malkeinu, and no more than that. I have no idea how and why, only those words from home stuck in my mind. We sat days in and out and repeating to no end, Avinu Malkeinu, without knowing the meaning of the words. From Birkenau, after tattooing a serial number B7885 in my left arm, my journey to additional 5 concentration camps started. And as the saying goes, the rest is history. At the closing, I would like to add only that today, May 4th, exactly 71 years ago, I was liberated by the 71st US Army Division from the concentration camp Gunskirchen in Austria. Thank you for listening.